Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cloudy Sheep, and we are playing Afghanistan 11. We're trying to win the hearts and minds of the Afghan people. Right now, we ended the last episode in the run-up to the election, so we do have a new president of Afghanistan coming up, and in the run-up to the election, right now there are two things that are very important. A is that we win more of these villages over, gain a bit more hearts and minds points, so that our candidate wins and brings us a lot of more political power points in the future. And on the other hand, the Taliban are also very likely to try and influence the election, so either they'll start some sort of offensive on the ground by IDs or by actually attacking our troops, possibly even attacking our forward operating base here, so we'll have to be a little bit more alert for that. Actually, one thing that I'm going to do is let's do an emergency supply drop.
Emergency supplies deployed.
Which means that some supplies get sent there.
UNA delivered.
This village should just flipped over at a certain point, so we just gained some points there. You can see we have an Afghan National Army unit right in here, so this Black Hawk is going to drop that
Copy
here.
solid.
Get some intelligence, possibly, maybe on the telepathy.
New intel incoming. IED detected.
Just on IDs, which also is very good still. Collect these guys back up.
Affirmative.
Let's see what else can we do. These three villages down here now don't have any intel. However, these guys up here would have. We have some fuel remaining, so maybe what we're going to do is
We're
just
Oscar Mike.
hope that no Taliban are intercepting us. So that's very fine and dandy. Also, we do have our Alpha here. This little anti-mine vehicle. We are going to put it
We're
down.
Oscar Mike. IED detected.
Right, so there was another ID over here, which we diffused, actually, which is very good because it brought us some more political power points, which will also be very helpful in the future, and which is leading me to believe that potentially right now the big problem or the Taliban offensive might be centered on mines, because we've seen a couple of, or IDs, because we do know, right, we just discovered this one, we just discovered that one, so maybe there's something going on there. Let's take our forces, move up over here, because
We're Oscar Mike.
to check out if the militia that we spotted down there earlier has actually been removed. We're also going to grab our engineer here and fix this waterworks here, so
Affirmative.
no
Copy
mind
that.
this
Waterworks repaired.
there was another waterworks down here, which we fixed, but that's very important because otherwise the hearts and minds of this village would drop very rapidly, and that of course would not be altogether too great. We could start to move out here and try to clear that, but right now I'm not that convinced. This guy will actually
Moving out.
go back, and we just hit a mine. That was not very good, and let's think about a second what we ought to do here. This guy has one fuel remaining, so either this turn or next turn he really needs to go back in here. Right now that has not happened, so actually I'm fairly certain at this point that it is going to be a mine offensive. I'm not very happy about that, because our Husky here is a bit misplaced. Let's see what we can do. These
Roger.
guys up. And
Searching for IEDs.
ID clearing. Okay, so these three fields are fine right now. Let's. There are some potential for intelligence down there, but I think first of all we're going to grab this US infantry over here. Drop off these guys
Copy
over
solid.
here, because we do know these three fields are fine. Move these guys over by, I think, 2 fields. Should be
Moving
fine.
out. Searching for IEDs.
So IDs, nothing. So we do know that all the way over here should be fine, except maybe this field. Do we want to risk it? I think we do not.
Copy solid.
We will
Searching for IEDs.
search for IDs. Nothing. Okay, we can pick it up
Copy that.
and go back to
Moving
base.
out.
So that was very important, just to make sure all of these units have 2 hit points, and losing a further one would have been rather bad. So we would want to start to move down there. These guys have spent all the movement points, and we can't pick them up right now. We can pick up this US infantry over here.
Affirmative.
That was a mistake. There's some A&A infantry here, so I'm simply going to pick that up and drive down here. There's a chance that we might hit
We're
wide,
Oscar Mike.
which we haven't, which is also very good, of course.
Roger.
Drop off the infantry,
Searching for IEDs.
just make sure that there's nothing undue going on there. Pick it up, and then we can't do that this turn. Special forces will also spend their turn. These guys too. So I think we mainly have the sort of helicopters and these guys down here, which haven't moved yet. The supply truck, I think we can risk it to move just this little distance over here, although it does have a couple of movement points remaining.
Roger.
So I'm going to move it off the road. That was a nice shell.
Moving out.
That's fine. And got back into the base. We are also just going to pick up some fuel, just to make sure that we will be ready to move out next time. These guys over here don't have that many rations remaining, so I think we have to either pull them out or resupply them. And I think pulling out it is. We knew some Taliban must be somewhere around, but I think we lost their trace, so let's just make them move. And then MR8,
Affirmative.
probably not the best sort of helicopter for US infantry. In terms of
We're Oscar
safety,
Mike.
that's not wanted in the game. 3 more units. The Buffalo actually did its job, so skip turn. This A&A infantry.
Searching for
I
IEDs.
think we did that already, but never mind. And the Chinook over here, which doesn't have anyone loaded in. Regardless, I think it's time to move back to base.
We're
Maybe,
Oscar
let's
Mike.
fuel up somewhere else and see where we go. I would like to buy some more special forces just to move out and sweep around a bit, but we can't do that this turn. So, in turn. Let's look at the intelligence. There are some Talibans around, still some opium crops. We do know some militia is working down here, some are there, some Taliban over here, but nothing much more concrete than that right now.
We're Oscar Mike. We're Oscar Mike. Copy that.
Such a pity. I thought we'd be able to spot the infantry down here. Let's see if we
Copy
can
that.
get some intel.
Copy that. New intel incoming. IED detected.
Oh, this ID over here. Not that helpful, to be honest. Let's pick them up again
Copy that.
and start.
Copy solid.
That's really not that helpful. Could make a small detour here with the Husky, which I think
We're
is what
Oscar
we're gonna
Mike.
do. Just make sure it explodes, get some hearts and lights up over there.
Copy that.
Start moving back. That should be very helpful. No new intel down here, but this guy might actually go over here. That would mean it has 1 level of fuel remaining and 0 levels, so he might be able to get him back home. So I think that's going to be fine.
Copy solid.
Make sure we visit
Village uncooperative.
everyone regularly.
Roger.
Also very good, they just became loyal to the US, so
We're Oscar Mike.
nice to see. Could we actually move over there, maybe drop off from there. Maybe we can still do that. Helicopters coming
We're Oscar
back.
Mike.
The US infantry ready to move out, but with very little supplies, but the Chinook is over there. Maybe, if we do spot some enemies, that would be a nice rapid reaction force. But until then, let's see. Now this guy must actually heal, and there are two ways we could do that. We could build the vehicle extension yard. I think we are more and more likely to actually do that, just to make sure that everyone here is refueled and repaired, because a large part of the game is logistics. So let's briefly have a look at this and how it really works out. You can see these guys have 5 fuel levels total, and every time they spend or end a turn in the field, it's going to be reduced by 1. So after a certain time, they will need to be refueled, which you can do by the supply truck or the Chinook, and it's going to bring them back up. So, you know, just to ferry over 5 units of fuel, you can make 1 trip with the supply truck. Or you can actually use the Buffalo here, the engineering vehicle, build a vehicle extension yard, and then service vehicles from over here. And the change that makes is that this reduces the base supplies by 1 point. It's currently at 3 out of 5. And you can see that the supply truck could alternatively collect FOB supplies for operating base supplies. So it could collect 5 FOB supplies, bring them over here, and each singular of these supply points would increase the fuel level to up to 5. So that's a big change here, and it allows you to effectively do 1 trip and have 25 units of fuels instead of just 5. So we could think about doing that. I think it's this one. The reason I'm a bit reluctant is A, it costs 750 points, and B, you can see this base has only one possible chance to do an extension, which is maybe a bit of misdesign. Maybe I could have built it here, so it could have at least 2. And the alternative that I'm thinking about is this one, artillery pit, which would allow it to place an artillery here and engage all units in this sort of area. So right now I'm a bit reluctant to do that, and I think this guy should actually just start the base. Oh wow. Oh wow, I didn't think there would be an ID right here, right now. That's very unfortunate. Ladies and gentlemen, we just lost our first unit. And that's of course very bad. That's a bit frustrating. But oh my. That's just going to be the way it is. But that does, to me, confirm that right now we are facing an ID crisis. I think we will have to buy a second Husky if we can. But of course we can't, because we don't have the political power. So we are in a bit of a vicious cycle here. Do we want to build up further waterworks to increase our political power points? I don't think so right now, because they are more of a mid-term investment, and right now we have a very short-term sort of crisis here. Skip this guy for a second. This Afghan National Army unit here should probably start to move somewhere like this. Clear
Searching for IDs.
Here, nothing yet, because they are very, very sneaky and can explode easily. We could start to move back here, but I'm very worried that there are further mines over here, so we are gonna just wait for this Husky over here. Chinook doesn't really have anything to do right now.
We're Oscar Mike. Searching for IDs.
Not much point there because the Husky is right behind them. But yeah, just skip turn. The Chinook, what we are going to do is actually resupply our base over there. So just resupply 4. Did it pick up the supplies? Oh, I didn't think it did. Grab that. And resupply.
Roger.
And that's gone fine. supplies, all the supplies that he can. It's very good, of course. The Chinook has some movement points, but not enough to make it worth to move out. So just skip turn and turn. Let's see. Not much new intel really. We do know still about the opium, still about the militia. Is there any new intel here? No. Okay. So you
Copy solid.
Base. You're reasonably protected against mines. You
Copy that.
To move just back to base there. The Husky can make its way over here.
Copy solid.
See if we can spot some mines like these.
IED detected.
Very nice. So it was a good decision not to move the supply truck up, because that would have been a bit disastrous. That actually might allow us to buy a second one. Yes. These guys are very good because they tend to pay for themselves rather quickly. We do have this area covered, so I'm just going to move up that way. Let's see if we can't find anything.
Moving out. IED detected. IED detected. IED detected.
So you can see, first round it already paid for itself on the one hand, and it increased all the hearts and minds of the adjacent villages. Again, these guys down here, we just toured. This guy's also fine. We should end the next turn in base. We have one turn of fuel remaining, so I think we can take the chance to
Copy solid.
drop these guys off over there.
New intel received. Be advised. Militia in the area.
Some militia over there. What will we do about these guys? Let's think about that for a second. These guys can
Affirmative.
stay back. Just 5 foot. Again, not much point in any of these guys leaving. We do have the Chinook, which could shuffle with some troops. But I don't think it needs to. These guys really aren't up to the task of the NA infantry. But the good thing about the NA infantry is that anytime you actually engage into combat, they would start to gain some experience. So that might be a good idea. Let's see what else have we got. These guys are training some other units. The US infantry could be moving out with the Mi-8. Maybe take on these guys. They would have a bit better chances. And I think our Afghan National Army unit is very valuable at grabbing the intel down here. So maybe that's a rather good idea. Over here, there isn't much to see, so to say. But one thing that we need to be aware of is this Special Forces unit down here is starting to run a bit low on ammo, on rations rather. So we could think about either collecting these guys with the Chinook, or shuffling some supplies over to them. And I think actually we are going to
Copy solid. Moving out.
into these
We're Oscar Mike.
slightly.
Moving out.
And since we didn't find anything, we are going to grab some rations from the base here, and drop them off on these guys. We don't actually need to do that right now. Let's just
Copy solid.
fly down here. We spent most of our points anyway, so just
Copy that.
click and
We're Oscar
we can
Mike.
resupply these guys. Actually, we can do that
Copy
now.
that.
Resupply them. Grab them.
Copy solid.
Start them off.
We're Oscar Mike.
Oh, there's a pointless little expedition down there. This guy's moved already. I think there's no point in moving any of you guys out. There's no intel to be collected on any of these villages. All the waterworks are fine. So on that front, that's pretty great. So I think the only units that we haven't moved are probably the infantry down there. So how do we want to engage this Taliban over here? Sorry, this militia actually. And I think the best idea is We could try to grab them with some infantry, and that would be nice because they can actually level up. But I don't think we'll manage to grab these guys because, let's see, they can move five tiles, so that's rather far. So I think it's just these guys. Grab a lot more hearts and minds and be ready to
Copy solid.
grab these guys and start to move back to base.
Moving out.
That's very fine and dandy. Skip turn. Skip turn because we still don't know where the road is really clear. No point in moving you out, I think. No point to resupply anyone. Yep, I think we're just gonna enter. Similarly, well, you know what? We are training an MI8 here, and it's gonna take 2 more turns. And we are somewhat chronically short on transport over here, at least on helicopter transport. But on the other hand, this guy's running so low on fuel. I think that's actually what we're going to do. So, never mind my rambling. You wait and resupply. You wait, and you wait. Enter. Ooh, that's very nice. So that's a good good event for a chance. We are going to get drones, so specifically the we are going to get a bit more intel here. The Reaper drone, or the Reconnaissance, for free this turn, which of course is a very good thing for us. Let's see. These guys are starting to reward some intel right now, but you actually do need to come back to base right now. Fuel there, and let's see. I think we can now use our MI8 here, pick up the Afghans, and start to pay a visit down here.
Affirmative. Village uncooperative.
Village uncooperative, and it again changed to the worst legions, which I think is a sign that something is amiss here. There might be Taliban visiting it, there might be some other things going on. As I'm not going to pick up this infantry right away.
Searching for IDs.
Rather look for some IDs. Nothing here. And I'm skeptical about how things are going. This guy can
Copy that.
move back, fuel up again as well. Skip this turn. You are certainly going to skip this turn because you need to fuel up.
Copy solid.
Base. And wrap. That's fine. There's some intel to be gathered there. So we can do that. Yeah. Why not? Let's do it.
We're Oscar
I'm
Mike.
always a bit skeptical.
Be advised. Militia in the area.
Okay. That's interesting.
Copy solid.
Right on the street.
Moving out. Taking fire.
Not very good. Our militia disperses, but at least these guys earned a promotion, so at least that's nice, I guess.
Copy solid.
Let's see. Yeah. Good.
We're Oscar Mike.
A bit of a pity, but only so much you can do. These guys could move out, but we don't really have the means to send them out right now. The supply truck here could move out as well, but again, I'm rather reluctant to do that without the Husky right now.
We're Oscar Mike. IED detected. We're Oscar Mike. Affirmative. We're Oscar Mike.
Okay. This guy is going pretty well. Is there any way we could move these guys out? We could drop off the special forces in the base, pick up the infantry and see if we can't reach these guys by helicopter. I think that's a fine idea
We're
because
Oscar Mike.
we don't really have anything to do with these special forces right now anyway.
Be advised, militia in the area.
And I was just about to say that we can actually scan this area a bit better. So we are going to pick the US infantry, which doesn't have any movement points. We can attack them with this. Let's actually check how much action points. Yeah, still some. So we are going to use the mortar to
Copy
attack
that.
the militia here. And we did it. Very nice. We are also starting to really gain some points here, which is of course very, very nice and dandy. We are going to load up these guys and gather some intel, which we can't. Can we maybe reach it? Yeah.
Affirmative.
Because these guys can't
Copy
run
solid.
over here.
Village uncooperative.
Oh well. Still increasing hearts and minds by the tiny sliver. I don't think we really have anything to move out. Do we want to buy some more stuff? I'm actually not that sure. Just give you a turn. We could also build a hospital, which would allow us to heal up this infantry. But right now I don't think that's really required. Special forces, they don't have anything anyone to train right now because this base has reached the maximum number of Afghan units it can support. So we are gonna just move three tiles,
Copy solid.
and I can't actually build. Thought I could.
Copy that.
But also we've got US infantry, which is gonna stay. Supply truck is gonna stay. Buffalo is gonna stay. I'm somewhat eager to get special forces down here, but they would be 1,000 points, and we'd need some form of transport. Next turn we would have some available, so the points don't go bad. Oh, we can actually use this guy. So maybe let's do that. Let's see what's possible we should have here.
ANA unit deployed. Eyes on Taliban. Taking fire. Eyes on Taliban.
That's good to know. So some Taliban right over here in the open, but on the other hand, these guys were damaged right now. So not good. Let's do the following. Let's
Searching for IEDs.
for IDs. Nothing good. So pick these guys up.
Copy solid.
Fly them back to base.
Moving out.
Just make it. Because any tile of the base counts. So we do have them over here and they will be healed. So, what do we know? We don't... There must be some Taliban down there. We do know that there's some up here. I think that's a nice chance to maybe engage these guys. I'm not sure whether I really want to use the Afghan infantry for that, because it's probably not that good at it. See, very, very low chance to actually win against these guys. So, let's see what we can do about that. I think we should have an MI8. The Chinook doesn't really have the movement points, but the Black Hawk does. And we do have some US infantry available. I think we can actually use the MI8 for that, because it's the cheaper unit. Look at these guys. Drop them off, not close? Maybe over here?
Copy solid. Copy solid. Received. IED detected.
Much higher chance to win, which is of course very lovely. I think these guys put in here. These guys. Well, chances aren't really higher, so I am going to go these guys again.
Roger.
Drop them a little closer.
Affirmative.
And actually try to
Copy that.
position it.
Copy that. Target eliminated.
There.
New intel received. Taliban spotted.
Over here, okay. Good to know. Not much fun picking these guys up, but we can pick up these guys.
Copy that.
And
Affirmative. Village uncooperative.
maybe not.
Copy solid.
I think we're going to try to
Copy
use
that.
these IDs. A lot of effort here right now. And what are we going to do about these Taliban over here? They are actually endangering this Huskies somewhat. We do have a Black Hawk, but no infantry over here right now, so maybe that's something that we should think about. Also, we can grab some intel from over here, and I think that's going to be a splendid idea. Because we also need to think about getting these guys all the way over to the left to our main base. So
Roger.
that we heal.
Village uncooperative.
And just let
Affirmative.
detour. And
Copy that. Opium crop detected.
oh,
Moving out.
that's a lovely. Definitely could have moved these guys out. That's a lovely place for an opium field. Don't know. Okay, we actually can't do that. So we are going to take the special forces.
Copy
That
that.
direction. Take care of the opium. How many opium fields are there right now? 2. Oh well. We will get rid of it at some point. What else have we got? All the infantry in there. We could start to move down there with the buffalo tower, but no, I don't want to do that right now. There might be mines, there might be enemies. This broken waterworks here really is a problem, but not something that I can fix right now. So you're going to skip your turn. At least for
We're
that.
Oscar Mike.
But then we need to again think about these guys. You are clearly gonna wait because you need to heal. The special forces could start to move out. I guess maybe in the Chinook. These guys really have all the spans, so they couldn't attack anyway. But you know what? Let's take the special forces and move out. I would be somewhat willing to
Roger.
by the way, these guys are a little black when they carry some box, which is touch. They're not actually that great at fighting, but they do have this A10
Copy
strike.
solid.
And that's of course I send them
New
right
intel
into ambush,
incoming. IED detected.
which really is a lovely idea, isn't it? Stupid.
Copy solid.
I cannot drop you off.
Roger.
There.
Be advised, Taliban in the area. Copy that. A-10 inbound. Copy that. We're Oscar Mike.
Okay, so we learned about this ID, which is dramatic.
Roger.
Husky. Much less creative mind text right now. All good. Might as well.
We're
There
Oscar
already.
Mike.
This Husky is back up to speed, so we can actually
Copy that.
up over here. Make sure there's nothing on you on the way. Actually pick up a supply truck as well.
Moving out.
This US infantry is just going to have to wait. Do we want to buy anything? Do we want to see if we can't get more transport options? I think we do have one MRAP right now, and that feels a bit too low. Because the way that it could be damaged and the way that these units need to cycle in and out of use, I think we are actually going to buy an MRAP, which is pretty cheap in the end as well, and start with this guy out and over.
Copy solid.
Just to make sure that we have some form of transport available, which is not a supply truck. And this is going to
Militia spotted.
Oh, nice. We got some more convoys, not that critical really, but still very good. And our candidate actually won the election, which also is very, very lovely, in particular because he is going to run a lot more popular than PowerPoints. It's going to be a bit more costly to move around as well, but that's quite critical. ANA training time goes up, which is a bit unfortunate to be honest, but the Taliban missions are going to. So that's very good as well. And we are actually over the election, also very good. Turn 15 means we have another target ratio. In turn 20 it's going to be 20%, but we're way above that right now, so everything is good. We apparently spotted some militia down here, which I think was not there earlier, so that means that we actually know one of the cases why these guys are in trouble here. That's a Taliban cave, probably in these mountains down here. So that's also some very good intel. We got through the election, which is also very good, because we know Taliban activity will now decrease somewhat, but we do know that there are quite a lot of turns ahead of us, 45 turns to be precise, some intel to be collected here and there, some waterworks to be repaired. So our work still isn't really done,